Hello again everyone, Box Salesman here with the Immortal King Whirlwind build. Before we begin, if you want to just see gameplay of this build, just skip ahead like 5 minutes in the video. But first, let me get into the gear. Basically it combines 3 sets. The Immortal King set, obviously. You need the 6 pieces of this. It's mainly for the combination of the 4 set and the 6 set. You want Wrath of the Berserker and Call of the Ancients up all the time, and you also get a 100% damage buff from it. It's really good. Then bul'khatos, you dual wield these. Don't mind my weapons, they're pretty bad, but basically you want these ancient and high rolls. These give you a lot of fury generation, which allows you to constantly whirlwind, and of course the secondary, a lot of increased attack speed and movement speed while whirlwinding. Of course that's great as well. Then focus and restraint, pretty much used in most builds nowadays. Every time you use spender, you get 50%, well actually not when you use it, only when you hit with it, but every time you hit with a spender, you will gain 50% increased damage for a while, 5 seconds, and every time you hit with a generator, so bash right here, you will also gain another 50% increased damage. So that's like the 3 sets. Then there's basically only 3 slots left, the shoulders, the bracers and the amulet. For the amulet, you can really just use any immunity amulet, or just the Hellfire amulet is really good as well. I don't have either of those, simply because I didn't find them yet. Like Haunt of Faxo isn't good at all for this. We don't even have a single stun in the build, so just ignore my choice of amulet here. Then for bracers, I really like Lakuni Prowlers, because they roll with a 5th primary, which is attack speed as well. Attack speed is actually pretty useful on a Whirlwind Barbarian. There's many builds that don't really use attack speed, but Whirlwind Barbs, they scale well on attack speed. Then for the shoulders I use Profane Pauldrons, simply because of the pickup radius, because we will be generating a lot of health globes with this spec. But you can also use something else, like a Deathwatch Mantle. This is still the old one, but the new one is pretty cool. The new one that drops in 2.2 does a lot of damage as well. So, let's get into the skills. Bash Punish, just to proc the focus and restraint, really, not much else. It's a little bit of damage buff as well, but not that much. Then there's Whirlwind Dust Devils. These things just spam tornadoes and are like your main damage source. Then there's Wrath of the Berserker Insanity, but you could go for this one as well. Reduces all damage taken by 50%, which basically doubles your toughness. It kind of depends. If you want to push really high greater rifts, it might be better to use this one and then just hope that you get the best rift possible where you can AoE everything. But I kind of like to take Insanity for the extra damage. Then there is Warcry Impunity. Just a lot of toughness from this. It generates a bit of fury as well. On the Rift Guardian you might lack a little bit of fury, but Warcry actually solves this. Although it's really, the fury isn't that much of an issue anyway. Then there is Battle Rage. This is kind of an unconventional rune. You take Swords to Plowshares. I probably pronounced that terribly. Basically this makes crits spawn health globes, and this is what keeps us alive in Greater Rifts. And then we have Call of the Ancients together as one, which is basically doubling your toughness for free. Again, this actually shares the damage with your Ancients, which means that on high greater rifts, your Ancients will actually be taking a ton of damage, and again that's where the healing from Battle Rage comes in. This healing actually also heals the Ancients. So it's kind of a little synergy here. We keep the Ancients alive and the Ancients keep us alive. Then for the passives, Nerves of Steel is really good now in Greater Rifts, just gives you an extra life. Then Weapon Master gives us enough fury to just keep going, because we have a mighty weapon, so 2 fury per hit actually works on several targets, so when you're AoEing stuff your fury will constantly be max. Then Rampage, just something used in a lot of Barb builds, makes you go faster. This is pretty much always up when you're AoEing, not so much on the Rift Guardian, but it's really good to get there. Then Berserker Rage. We really stay at max fury a lot of the time, so this is a nice damage buff. Okay, let's quickly get into a rift. Oh, before we do that, Paragon. Okay, in core the usual, movement first, then strength. In offense, crit hit chance, crit damage, attack speed, cooldown. Cooldown doesn't really do much for the build. Then in here, all resist, armor, life, and then life regen. In here, just area damage, resource cost reduction, life on hit, although it's really hard to determine which one of these is better. They're all pretty bad, to be honest, for this spec, so it doesn't matter much. You can change these around. And then Goldfind is of course pretty useless. But let's get into a Greater Rift. I'm just gonna do a 41 because my gear is really not optimized. Almost nothing is ancient, especially my weapons are really lackluster, but you can just imagine my gear being way better and doing higher greater rifts. I can actually do 45 and 46 greater rifts pretty easily, but I don't want to have like a 15-minute video of doing this, especially if the RNG is bad, if the mob types are bad. I don't want to be stuck 15 minutes into a rift. I'm trying to keep the video a little bit short. Okay. So basically what we do is we just spin around and try to bash enough. Also what the spec does a lot is like skipping elites. Often when the elite isn't that good, when the AoE size isn't good enough, you just go on to the next elite. And I just derped and I procced everything there. Yeah, this one was frozen, I shouldn't have been standing in it. This would have probably been a good spec to skip anyway. It's not enough AoE mobs. But yeah, that's something you kind of learn to do as you start playing this spec. It's really often better to just skip elites. And only do the elites when there's a lot of white mobs with it, so you can do some area damage. But let's kill it now anyway. I don't think you learn a lot if I'm just skipping all the elites, and you don't really see how the spec does against many of the affixes. Okay, that one's down. Density isn't really amazing here. They're really spread out. Oh, that's a nice pack though. Always keep up your Wrath of the Berserker and your Ancients. As soon as those two fall off, you basically lose all of your toughness, all of your damage, and you will die really fast. The spec is pretty bad at single target, like every barbarian spec ever. But it's better at single target than Furious Charge, so that's at least an improvement. The main reason I play this spec is that I'm really tired of Furious Charge. This is like nice. Whirlwind is just more fun to play in my opinion. Oh, the very useful shield pylon. As you see, the progression is going pretty smooth, even though there's really not a lot of big packs in here. Which is what this build really excels at. As soon as you see big packs, it's gonna be crazy. Especially the health globes, they're gonna spawn like just insanely fast if you have big packs. Is this a good pack to pull? Oh well, they're pretty squishy, let's just quickly get them down. As you can see, the health globes are providing really good healing. And now that the Mortix braces are removed, we really need a source of healing, so that's why I ended up taking the Battle Rage rune. Of course, when you're like speed farming greater rifts, doing like 35s or something, you can just change this health globe rune, you don't really need it then. It's mostly something for when you push the higher rift. Okay, let's hope the next floor is a little bit better. Oh yeah, I actually didn't speak about my my gems yet, my legendary gems. So it's a bit late in the video, but let's talk about it anyway. There's Pain Enhancer. It's physical damage, which the build is. The build is physical damage, so it scales pretty nicely on that. And it also gives a lot of attack speed. Again, Whirlwind scales on attack speed. These tornadoes, they actually spawn more often if you have more attack speeds. Again, the Whirlwind hits faster with more attack speed. Whirlwind hitting faster means you get your cooldowns back faster, so attack speed is pretty decent in here. Then there's Bane of the Trapped. Bane of the Trapped is always a good gem on any melee class. If you're in range, the secondary effect on the gem, the slow, counts as a movement impairing effect, so it will proc the damage buff. So even though we don't really have any crowd control in the build, the gem will proc itself. And it's a nice damage buff. Then there's the Taiguk. Honestly, if there's any build you will run that gem on, it's this build. You just keep spinning. It's so easy to keep the buff up. I actually don't really like the legendary gem on many builds because it's annoying to keep it up. I don't think it's really relaxed to do it. But on this build, it's just, you just hold your right click or whatever you bound it to. Pretty damn easy to keep it up. And of course when I have a conduit, there's like nothing to AoE. As you notice, as soon as I'm not hitting anything, then my fury starts dropping quite a bit. But as soon as we're hitting stuff again, Weapon Master kicks in, 2 fury per hit, and it's really easy to stay max fury. Oh my god. I should really be looking at Frozen more often. That's the second time I had my Nerves of Steel proc on Frozen, which is something I shouldn't do. It's pretty easy to dodge. Oh my god. There, I forgot to put on my Wrath of the Berserker. Yeah, I'm playing pretty bad. It's probably because this is like my first video I recorded in like 10 months or something, so... I'm nervous, guys. Give me a break. Oh. Need to take this globe. And I let my Tygok stacks fall off. Right after I do like a big preach about how these Tygok stacks can like never fall off, and then they fall off. Yeah, I'm really sad that there's not many AoE packs. You should see this spec on like a full zombie Act 4 map. Then it's just, oh my god. You can get the Rift Guard in like 2 to 3 minutes on this difficulty. It's just spawn him so fast. Oh, also, I've been like chain farming 41s and 42s, and whatever the Rift Guardian, whatever the Rift layout, you will easily do for low 40s, easily. With better gear, with some RNG rifts, I can definitely see this build doing 50 plus. Right now, I probably couldn't do 50 plus unless I have really good RNG though. But yeah, not having ancient weapons is already a big thing. I should have probably skipped this pack as well, not enough AoE here. And too much arcane. But yeah, my playstyle, honestly, I'm playing pretty bad, so don't use this playstyle as a way of like, this is how you should be playing. No, I'm honestly doing pretty bad. That's some better AoE. Again, let my Wrath of the Berserker fall off. When you see it fall off, it's not because I'm like not getting enough cooldown or something, it's just because I'm forgetting to turn it back on. And it's a Rift Guardian that's not really easy to kill, so we're gonna be stuck on the Rift Guardian for a little while. Although again, it's not as bad as Furious Charge. It's really much better than the Furious Charge build. You see, it's slowly dropping. I'm keeping my bash up. It's pretty damn important. 12% damage from the bash, another 50% from the focus and restraint. I should probably not dash out of his poison stuff. Should be able to just out heal it. And I'm spawning health globes now and then, as you can see. Probably on the Rift Guardian it's like once every 4 to 5 seconds, something like that, but on AoE packs you can basically spam health globes all the time. Yeah, this is being a pretty slow Rift because of the bad density, bad Rift Guardian. Yeah, health globes keep spawning. When you do have a Rift Guardian that spawns Zats, you will keep up your rampage, the thing that gives you percent strength. You will spawn more health globes, you will do more area damage. So especially the new Rat Boss or Stone Singer, stuff like that, you know the drill. There's a lot of Rift Guardians that will go much smoother. But if you're familiar with the Furious Charge, you can see that compared to Furious Charge, this one is doing decent single target. And it's actually pretty damn tanky as well on the Rift Guardian. A lot of builds have trouble surviving the Rift Guardian because they don't really have any sources of healing, as the Rift Guardian doesn't really spawn health globes, but of course we do spawn health globes with our spec, which keeps us alive easily. And the Rift Guardian is almost down. And there we go. Yeah, that's probably my slowest time ever on a 41. But yeah, I'm not gonna cherry pick a Rift and just show you guys the best Rift. I don't think anybody cares about that. You guys want to see what an actual Rift is like. Let's just upgrade this stuff. But yeah, that was the build. Thanks you guys for watching, and bye.